so that we can be intimate in its greatest and most profound way with our soul and with Hashem. And from there, if we can imagine that we are being embraced by at that moment, we are being fully and completely embraced by the light of Hashem, and that light will carry us for the rest of the year. It is with that light, it's just a moment, but that light is enough to carry us for the rest of the year. And so it's just an amazing privilege and an honor to be with all of you tonight. Forgiveness is such an integral part of Yom Kippur. It is such an integral part of entering into the new year. And yet, we all have our ups and downs with forgiveness, because at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, we are all human beings. And we all have all these different dimensions that we are a part of. We are a bunch of emotions. We have mind, we have a brain, and so therefore when things come at us, we see it in a certain way. We have our soul that's sometimes we are connected to and sometimes we are not. And then we also have our physical appearance. And so we have all this dynamic just within ourselves, working together at the same time. And now add 4 dynamics that I have that is working with itself at all times, then add that with my next person, and add that with my next person, and add that. Look how many different things are at play at the same moment. At the same moment. It is not just my word that is at play. It is my soul, it is my emotion, it is my mind, how it's taking information in. And so therefore, in order to talk about forgiveness, we must talk about the backdrop of creation. We must talk about what this backdrop is and where we fall into this backdrop in order to be able to even talk about forgiveness. We talk about forgiveness as though it's such a soft and mild thing. Forgive and forget. Forgive and let go. It is good for your body. It is good for your health. The one who forgives is the one who is healed right away. True. All of it is true. But it's not even touching at the tip of what forgiveness is. So let's look at this backdrop for a moment. And then we go into what forgiveness really is. The backdrop is, number one, that we live in a dynamic universe, meaning things are changing all the time. Nothing is ever the same. This moment to the next is different because I'm using different words and you're doing different things. You're thinking differently, you're processing maybe differently, you might fall asleep, you might be tired. Every moment is different than the one before. We live in a dynamic universe. Not only that, not only things are changing at all times, but our interaction, what we do with it, also affects everything else that comes through it. Does that make sense? Everything that I do or everything that she does, you do, everything that any one of us do, whether it be by thought, action, or speech, whether it be by a feeling, it's going to change the dynamic of just the space that I'm in. And changing that space is going to change something else. So number one, we live in a dynamic universe. Number two, we live in a unified universe, meaning that nothing, even though for us, to us it seems that way, it comes that way, because of the way we are made, because of our five senses, we think we are separate. We think it's me and you and they, and for us to process that we are in a unified universe, we live in a unified universe, we really need to work our awareness and we really need to work our consciousness. Twice a day, we declare, we say, Shema Israel, Hashem Echad. We declare it every single day. We say it every single day, and yet we are not really sure what that means. When we say it, we close our eyes. Because when our eyes are open, when we are seeing the universe, we see the you, and I see the me, and I see the separateness. But when I close my eyes, that's when I'm able to see the unification. That's when I'm able to see that everything can and is united, that it works together. And that's why within this unification, that's why it's dynamic. That's why anything that I do or any one of us does, it affects the whole. The one affects the many affects the one. And so this is the principle of the whole, from the beginning of creation to the end of creation, it shall be so. This is the way Hashem created it. Bless you. And so what we call our ego, it's really what, first of all, for some of you who know me, I don't like the word ego because I think it's been misused and I think it's been abused. We do have an ego, and that's good. Everything that Hashem has created is for good. If we use the ego for good, it means we build. We build on top of what we already have. We grow, we evolve, and that's using the ego for good. But why did I go here? Two truths can exist at the same time. We live in a paradoxical world. This is a paradoxical universe. Two things that are opposite each other, that can look like they are opposite each other, can exist at the same time. So it can exist at the same time that I see myself separate, but at the same time, we are all connected. It can be at the same time that light is a wave, but at the same time, it could be a particle. That's the truth, by the way. Light is both a wave and a particle. Light is both an energy and material. It's material. Depends where it's at. Depends what's happening with it. And so we live in a paradoxical world that two things that are exactly opposite of each other can exist at the same time. It is not either or, it's both. It's both. So therefore, I could be sitting here and feeling myself as absolutely separate, and yet to my soul, which I might not be aware of at this particular moment, there is a unified force that connects all of us. Third, we can only know ourselves when we are in relationships. There is no other way we can know ourselves. We can only know the capacity of our soul when we are in relationship. Otherwise, how is the soul supposed to experience giving? If there is no other person to give to, how is this soul that's within this body is supposed to experience giving? If there is no other person to be compassionate to, how is this soul supposed to experience compassion? If there is no forgiveness to give to, how is the soul supposed to experience forgiveness? It is only in relationships and in the spectrum of all these emotions and feelings. There is a whole spectrum. There is anger, there is blame, there is shame, there is guilt, there is hurt, there is pain, there is joy, there is love, there is compassion, there is elation, ecstatic, enlightenment. All of these are all of them, if we can see a spectrum, it's all on the same spectrum. So, as human beings, we must be in relationships in order to experience ourselves or experience our soul or the growth of our soul or the elevation of our soul, and it happens through relationships. Be it relationship to each other, be it relationship to ourselves, be it relationship to Hashem. We have 3 different relationships. And at the same time, all of them feed each other. There is not one that is separate from the other. If I am walking in faith with Hashem, if I am utterly connected with Hashem, then my compassion, my love, my vision has to be grander than what it was last year. Because we are always supposed to be on this spectrum of growth. However, we always oscillate. We go down and we come up. We go down and we come up. We get hurt and then we have to open it up. We have to see what it is, where it's coming from. We have pain and then we have to open it up. We get upset and then we have to open it up. And so it is with this relationship that is a gift. It's a gift to all of us, no matter what the relationship has looked like, because it is through this relationship that I get to work my soul, I get to work my consciousness, I get to work my awareness. There is no other way. It can't happen. There is no other way. Number 4. Hopefully I'm going to bring all of this together. So first, that we live in a dynamic universe. Second, we live in a unified universe. Third, that it's through relationships that we come to know ourselves, that we come to know our soul and the capacity. And we get to know the capacity of our soul. And number 4, and very important for Rosh Hashanah that we are going to. Hashem has made us in His image. Being made in His image means many things. What does it mean to you that we are made in His image? Compassionate. Compassionate. What else? Forgiveness.
Should be able to give whatever we expect to get from Him, right?
should be able to give whatever
image of him. So
mirror image, so
where we expect, we should be able to give back.
to give back.
The 13 attributes.
The 13 attributes of Hashem, which is being merciful, compassionate, forgiving, loving.
Looking forward, not to the past.
Looking forward, so dynamic creation, creating. What else?
Love.
Love. What else?
Because we have the image of God, can we put not judgment in that or no?
No judgment. Yeah, we can put as we like. Yes, sure. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome.
Really, God.
Are you joining us? So please join us. Come. Yes, you are. Please come close.
So nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
That was the first, right? The modern era.
Thank you for joining us.
It's the first women sit in front, men sit in the back.
I was just we're talking about forgiveness, which is the topic of tonight. And we are saying in order to talk about forgiveness, we need to have a backdrop in order to even be able to talk about forgiveness. And the backdrop is that we live in a dynamic universe. We live in a unified universe. We as human beings, we get to know our capacity only when we are in relationships. Unless we are in relationship, we don't know what the capacity of our soul is unless we come face to face with that relationship. The capacity of compassion, the capacity of forgiveness, the capacity of giving, the capacity of love, and also other things on this spectrum, which is pain, hurt, shame, blame, guilt, all of this being on this spectrum. And next is that we are created in the image of Hashem. And as a matter of fact, Rosh Hashanah is the birthday of Adam and Chava, which makes it our birthday, which makes it our creation. But in order to get there, what does it mean to be in Hashem's image? And they have said that compassion, forgiveness, love, giving, which is all true.
One more. Looking at everybody the same, no favoritism. Like looking everybody at their soul and at what's possible for them, not separating other people.
To be able to look at the soul and to know what's possible for them as it's for them and as for the greater whole. I would like to add one more to what we just said, and that is that Hashem has no image. There is no image. And so any image that we attach ourselves to is a form of idolatry.
It's what?
Is a form of idolatry. So what does it mean Hashem has no image? It's perpetual creation. Perpetual creation. Not bound to any one thing. And yet, there are the laws of universe that he himself binds himself to it, and at the same time there is no image. It's the paradox. It's this paradox that we live into. It's the paradox of the universe. It's the paradox of creation, that there is this form that is out of it, and then there is this form that's within it. Does that make sense? We close our eyes Shema Israel Echad, we see that unity, or we should be able to see that unified web that holds everything together. And then we open our eyes and we see individualism. We see one by one. And so always we are in this paradox, always, at all times, we're living in this paradox. Now we come to forgiveness. In order for us to be able to enter Rosh Hashanah and to be able to be really fully renewed, we are entering every Rosh Hashanah, we enter a dynamic and a dimension that never existed on earth before. We enter into a light that never existed on earth before. So we are entering into, if you can imagine this vortex that's moving ever upward. On Rosh Hashanah, we fall into this, or rather a spiral that's moving ever upward. On Rosh Hashanah, and honestly, on all holidays, we enter into this vortex of time that anything that came to be at that time is available to us now, and anything that will happen in the future, it's also available to us now. It's a vortex. However, we are entering into a dimension that was never there before. We have all the light of the past, plus this new dimension that we are entering into, this new light that we are entering into, year 5780. And so with it, it comes gifts. It comes blessings. It comes beauty. It comes, it comes just tremendous amount of beauty, but we need to be able to see it. And for us, for our soul, in order for our soul to be renewed, number one, we also need to have no image. And anything that we attach ourselves to already is giving it an image. By not forgiving, we are making an attachment to an event that happened in the past, and we are making an attachment, and we are saying, what we are saying is that, okay, first, before I even go there, first, I want to say that all pains, all hurts, all unforgiveness is validated. Hashem is not saying do not be in pain. And Hashem is not saying do not cry. We are human and we must be in our humanness. Hashem is also not asking us for any sort of perfection, because perfection does not exist. Perfection means that there is no more growth. There is no such thing as perfection, so we must get that out of the way. There is only movement. There is only growth. There is only greater awareness. There is only greater connection. And so any pain that we have from any hurt that has happened in the past is validated. We cannot invalidate, and we should not. We cannot and we should not invalidate our pain. So, again, it's like that paradox, the in and out. Is it possible? So here I pose a question. Is it possible to have pain and to have been pained by someone so deeply and yet be able to forgive them? Is that possible?
Yes.
Yes? No?
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Very hard.
It is. Anybody else?
It's hard, but I think it's necessary to allow yourself to let go of that and let your soul to be free. It's like the soul needs it to be able to grow. Otherwise, you are just staying there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need tools how to deal with it. Exactly. It's, for each person is different. You need to know how to deal with it. Exactly. You need the tools to work on it. Forgiveness is not an easy thing. That,
No.
you know, something bad happened to you in the past, and okay, you move it forward.
No. Okay, two things I wanna. Two things I do want to say. Forgiveness is not about letting it go, and it's not about forgetting. Because we always say forgive and forget. If you're forgiving, it doesn't mean you're forgetting. Because if you're forgetting, it means you're pushing it under the rug. So forgetting and forgiveness are completely two separate things. And letting go means I have this bottle of water and I just drop it, I just let it go. But it's still there. I can still see still see the bottle of water. So yeah, on one level, letting it go maybe releases me a little bit, but I can still see the bottle of water. It's not complete. Yeah.
You know, it makes sense when you can remember.
Put it on my bag, and I won't see it anymore.
Every time you remember, kind of, it's مثل یه زخمیه. It's like touching that pain again. It's reliving it. So it's, and you can't forget. But
Right.
how do you go back and remember? I think is important.
Yes, yes, yes. So, in order.
I'm sorry, but you know it's there, but you choose not to let it hurt you. Does it make sense? When you forgive, then you know that this has happened. It's there. It's not going away, but you're the one who's choosing in your heart not to let it hurt you. It's your choice.
It's your
right?
choice. Anybody else?
I personally, I think that if you look at forgiving as doing a favor to yourself, not to the other person, you are not doing it for that person. You are doing a favor to yourself. Exactly. But sometimes you need help from somebody else to help you help yourself. It's much deeper than you think. Exactly what she said. It's not that you drop a bottle of water, still there. But you have to get rid of it. You have to make it disappear.
Okay, it's not even that. I want to suggest that it's not even that. That's what I want to suggest. I want to suggest that it's like you have a water that is polluted, and you take the water and you filter it. And then you again have a water that you can drink. It can become drinkable water. Meaning, the very experience, the very hurt, the very pain that was poison, God forbid, or the very pain and the very hurt that that causes anguish, and it causes anxiety and pain, that the same thing can be turned into a water that's drinkable, and it can be sustenance for our being. Okay, so hopefully I can bring this together, because I want to talk about this first on a soul level. I want us to understand what happens on a soul level when we are holding to an event or a series of events that has led to a situation right now, or has led to something right now. On a soul level, any interaction we have with anybody affects not only my soul, affects the other person's soul. Not only that, it affects those, even though the other person might not be in contact with anybody else within my family, this interaction that I have just had with this person, remember, when we close our eyes, Hashem Echad, yes? There is a unified field. And so every time we come in contact with any other person, we are affecting each other, and not only that, we are affecting our own vicinity of people that are connected to us. Fair up to now? Is that good? You're good? Okay. If we leave with a hurt or with a pain from this interaction, there is a part of my soul that has been left with that person, and there is a part of their soul that has been left with me. Energetically, part of their energy is left with me, and part of my energy is left with them. Look, sometimes forgiveness takes years and years for it to come. But it is for us to at least have the awareness and to release it every time we can. And we choose to. Sometimes it takes a whole lifetime. But these discussions are so that it doesn't take us a lifetime.
So when we forgive, you say that when there's interaction, the energy of the person is left with me. And when I forgive, the energy goes back to the person?
Correct. So what happens energetically when there is forgiveness? We are releasing that part of me that's left with the other person. My energy comes back to me. And that's why we say when you forgive, it's good for you. تو خودت سباک میشی. Sure, but there is something deeper than that. The part of my soul that I need in order to do my mission and my purpose in this world, in order to have energy to do other things in this world, in order to do the very thing that Hashem has created me for, part of me is left with some other person that some other person might not even know, might not even be aware of. But a part of me has been left there. Now, on Rosh Hashanah, the first question that was asked of Adam and Chava is, where are you? The same question is going to be to our soul on Rosh Hashanah. The same question echoes every Rosh Hashanah to all of our souls. Where are you? Meaning, where are you? Where have you left yourself? Where are pieces of yourself scattered around? Where have you been? Where are you? Where is your potential? Adam and Chava had hid themselves. Why are you hiding? Where are you hiding? Don't hide under shame, under guilt, under pain. I have infused you with myself. I have infused you with my love, my love. I have infused you with my breath. You have everything you need in order to create. Get up and create. Get up and be dynamic. Get up and have this perpetual creation. You're blaming Chava because you ate the apple, and Chava is blaming the snake. That's the first interaction that's taking place with a human to human. The first interaction, blame. It's true. The first interaction. And Hashem is saying, where are you? Where have you left yourself? Where have you left a piece of your soul? I gave you everything you need. Everything. All the light that you need is in you. Are you putting that power onto another person to say that the other person is responsible for your life? Are you putting the power onto another person? Where am I then? Where is divine providence? Where are you? Where are you hiding? Where are you Why have you made yourself so small that you have left yourself with somebody else? That you have left yourself in the past, that you have left yourself with a circumstance? It's all there for you to interact and for this soul to express itself. That's why forgiveness is so important. To gather ourselves back. To bring ourselves back so that when we stand in Rosh Hashanah and Hashem says, where are you? Hineni, here I am. Bless you. We don't say, I'm left there, and there, and there, and there. How much of me is left? Here. I need to be here. Where are you? We are supposed to say, Hineni, here I am, here, right now, here. So then where are all your pieces? Left somewhere in the back because of someone who has done something. Look, we are human beings, and we have all been hurt in one way or another. There is a piece of us that has left somewhere in one way or another. Because we are human beings. And this is divine design, that we go into interaction with each other, that we push each other's buttons, that but then this way, we are able to express our soul, and we are able to express all these different dynamics that our soul has, all these different colors. Otherwise, how would it express itself? Forgiveness then becomes not just, forgive so that Hashem forgives you. That's just so on the surface. Hashem is forgiving and you be forgiving. Yes, it's all true. It's all true. But we have been gifted with a breath that is unique to you. You have been gifted with a light that is unique to you. Nobody else has this combination of DNA and this combination of light that interacts with you. Nobody else except you. and to not forgive either a situation or a person or an event or life itself. It's to leave pieces of ourselves in those places. And when we forgive, we give permission. When we haven't forgiven, we are bound. It's chained. There is no permission. But when we forgive, there is permission for the light to enter into all those dark spaces, into all these dark crevices that has up to now been dark, cobwebbed, and extremely difficult to enter into. We give permission. That's when light can enter through it. So we go into Yom Kippur. It is the time our soul is coming the closest. Our flame is coming closest to its light. It's coming the closest to its creation. But if you're bound, how far can this flame go? If we are bound to a person, or our pieces of our soul is scattered here and there and here and there, how far can this reach? And then we are also recreating, because Rosh Hashanah is a whole new creation. There is no image. We are created in the image of Hashem, who has no image. And so if we already come in with an image of the past, if we are already coming in with an image of a soul being connected to here, and a soul being chained to there, and a soul being scattered here, it will recreate the image again. The image will recreate itself. Hashem is non-judgmental in that way. There is, as parents, we can tell, as mothers and fathers, we can tell that there is no one in this world who would want more for our children to succeed and be healthy and be well than us. We would give anything for our children to succeed. If we have this innately in us, imagine what Hashem is for us. He is our greatest, he's our greatest cheerleader. He is the one who, more than we want to succeed, he wants us to succeed. More than we want to be well and to be joyous, he wants us to be well and to be joyous. He's our Father, he's our Mother, he's our Creator, he's our Beloved. More than we want it, he wants it. More than our children want to do well, we want them to do well, and we provide everything for them in order for them to what they need to do in their life, to the best of our capacity anyway. And so Hashem, the most bountiful, the most benevolent, the most visionary, the most creative. There is no one else, or we can't say no one, but there is nothing in this world who wants us to succeed more than Hashem himself. But if we are entering into this with already an image of ourselves, whatever this image is, an image of whatever, you name it, I haven't been able to do this and therefore, من که دیگه کیم؟ من که مگه چند سالمه دیگه که بخوام همچین کاریو بکنم؟ Sorry, how old? I'm too old to do something like this. Who am I to do something like this? Who am I to do this? Who am I to think that? Who am I to be that? We are already an image. Already we have an image. And Hashem says, I created you in my image that has no image. Gather yourself up. And the whole month of Elul, which is beautiful month of Ani ledodi veledodi li, to my beloved and my beloved is to me, is a call for us to gather ourselves up, to gather our soul up, to bring it back into our own essence, to bring it back into ourself. And the way to do it is by forgiveness, as hard as it is. And is the forgiveness of life, where life did not show up the way we wanted it to. Where life did not happen the way we had wished it to. And there are a few of us who attest to that, including myself. And so, forgiveness of circumstances, forgiveness of life, forgiveness of even God, forgiveness of self. How many times do we blame ourselves for not knowing, for not seeing, for not being prepared enough, for not being good enough, for not being smart enough? So it's forgiveness of life, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of circumstances, and forgiveness of others. It's a very intense internal work. But when we do gather ourselves up, then we have that much more the light that was given to us from birth, the oomph that was given to us from birth, the breath that was given to us from birth. If we scatter all of that, imagine what a life force we have, and with that life force, we create. With that life force, we go into the new year. With that life force, we say, Hineni, here I am, I'm here. I'm here, I'm present. I'm here. What do you want me to do? I am here for whatever you want me to do, I'm here. And to put everything that has happened up to this point as divine providence. Where does my responsibility fall into it? Where does my vision fall into it? Everything that is up to this point, divine providence. For those things that we are not able to forgive. And so we add divine providence into this. We forgive, and we allow light to enter all these dark spaces. Dark in our heart, dark in our soul, dark in this space that's between me and this other person, dark between this space that I call my life.
Can you explain a little better what divine providence means in your
What divine providence? Okay. She's asking what divine providence is. Divine providence is that everything that has happened up to this point has been divinely coordinated, and there is no mishaps here. There are no mistakes here, even though it looks like a big, huge mistake. It looks like a huge mistake. but it's no mistake.
It happens for a reason.
It happened
For a reason.
for a reason, which we might never ever know. And we can never, and I like to say this for not only from experience, but also from what I know. We can never say that this happened for this reason, so therefore this happens. It happened, we might never know the reason. Yes, one of the things that came from it is that this other thing happened, but we really never know what the reason is, why it happened. We have to know we are a soul that's complex. Our soul has so many different dimensions. Our soul is eternal. It comes from the past, it goes into the future. We don't know in this spectrum of life that we are in this moment of time that we are standing right now, what came here, what's going there, what's this big tapestry that's working itself through me. I am one of the threads of this humongous tapestry, and yet a very important thread, because if the thread falls off, the whole tapestry falls off. Not just mine, but all of us. And we have to know that. That's why forgiveness is not forgive and forget. Please remember. Please remember all those hurts. It's very hard. Take a notebook and write all the hurts that somebody has hurt you. Remember. Remembrance itself is redemption. Forgetfulness is galut. Because when we forget, we put it under the rug. And everything stays here. Don't you ever think that anything that we do, or anything we say, or anything we think, just disappears into thin air. The earth knows it. This space knows it. It's recorded. Our voices stays, the echoes of it stays within this universe. Nothing ever gets wasted or goes. It interacts, it's dynamic, it changes things, it moves things. And at the same time, it's connected. As diverse as it is, as complicated as it is. And yet it's simple, but not easy. Does that make sense? It's simple, but not easy.
So you're saying, from what I'm hearing, to not ignore it, it's there, and then you rise above it, become bigger than it, in a way. Is that?
Yes. What I'm saying is it's there. It must be acknowledged. Everything from it must be acknowledged. The pain that it has caused must be acknowledged. The consequences of that pain must be acknowledged. And at the same time, to say that I'm not leaving a piece of myself there any longer. Everything has happened with divine intervention. There is nothing that is separate from God. There is nothing that happens separately from God. And in order for me to be able to be aligned fully and completely with the day itself, with the day of Rosh Hashanah, and with the renewed breath that Hashem is putting into me, I choose to forgive it and to allow my soul to come back. Love you. No, I know you're very tired. Thank you for being here. Love you. Shana Tova.
Can you talk about self-forgiveness a little bit?
Self-forgiveness. You know, more than we can't forgive others, we can't forgive ourselves. Because a lot of times we say that, how could I not see? How naive was I? How, excuse the word, stupid could I have been? How, and we have all these different conversations with ourselves. It is number one to become aware of the conversations that we have. What is happening in our head when we are by ourselves? What kind of conversation are we having with ourselves, and what kind of conversation are we having with somebody else? I should have said this. I should have said. I should have. So, number one, to be aware of the conversations that we have in our head, because those conversations are the clue to where we stand with our own self. How harsh we are with ourselves, and how much we need to introvert the compassion onto ourselves a lot of times, to bring it into ourselves.
Going back to the analogy you said about the water being polluted and how with forgiveness you can find sustenance in the water. Could you go more into that?
Yes. When we have left a part of our soul someplace else, whether it be in the past, whether it be in another person, we have given away our life force, and we have given away our energy. And there is a wall that exists between me and this other person. Right? There is a wall, there is something, there is a dark space that's been created. And by them, maybe we are very right to be angry. Maybe we are very right. Maybe we have every right to be upset. It's not to say we are not right to be angry and to be upset. Maybe they've really hurt you. It's to say that I've been hurt, that I've been pained. However, at this moment, I'm choosing to bring myself back to me.
So it's for yourself, it has nothing to do with
Absolutely, it
reconciling.
does. You mean it's a very internal process first. First, it has to happen within here. Until it doesn't happen here, you know how we make phone calls before Yom Kippur and say, I did something to you, please forgive me? Usually those phone calls are made to the ones that we love, and we have nothing to be forgiven for.
Easier? That's easier.
It's easy. It's very easy. And my mom doesn't like it when I do that. She's like, oh, why you say that? It's easy, Mom.
No comment.
No comment, yeah. No, but, so.
No, but I'm sorry, Ferry.
No,
but
but-
honestly, why, if somebody hurt somebody, why the person shouldn't go present with the other and say, you hurt me this way, and I'm hurt, and they complete with each other. Why they shouldn't do that?
It's one of the ways to do it, absolutely. If
I
the
think-
person feels that they have reached a place where they can sit and discuss it and say, you know, what you did really hurt me. And if they are able to receive you, if they're able to receive what you are saying.
They might not be able to receive.
So first, it's a very internal process. This is a very, very internal process first. Once we have done this, I'm sorry, you said something, I wanted to answer you. I lost my train of thought.
The water.
The water, yeah, there was
Sustenance.
something.
Finding sustenance in the
Right, okay, so you said this is only for you, so no. When there is forgiveness, internally there is no word spoken at this point. Nothing has been said at this point. It's a very internal process. Once you do this, the wall that existed between you and this other person starts crumbling down. It's energetically. And the darkness that existed between you and this person, now light starts feeding into this space.
for you, but not for the other person.
For the other person as well. This is what I want to say.
Even
Everything,
if they don't choose to
if
forgive.
everything, okay, so remember, we live in a dynamic universe. We live in a unified universe. Everything we do affects everything else. The one affects the many affects the one. Everything you do affects everything else around you. Everything that somebody else does affects you as well. So when you do that internal work, it's already creating a space for light to enter it. And maybe they won't know so, but maybe a week from now, 10 days from now, a month from now, their heart will soften. And they won't know why. Maybe the hurt won't be as bad. Maybe the anger is not going to be as angry anymore. Why was I so angry? I don't even remember why I was so angry anymore. It's not worth it. That's what happens. The hold on it becomes much softer, and it becomes much lighter.
And at this point, that person didn't even spoke to the other.
Correct. Correct.
What if we
This is just an internal process and an internal work. And of course, the next step would be to actually ask for forgiveness if we think we have hurt anybody. But my conversation tonight is for the people who have hurt us. And they need to come and ask for forgiveness from us, right? Because if we are doing the work already on forgiveness, then it's easy for us to forgive somebody else who has, right? Who has hurt us. Or rather, no. It's easy for us, once we are doing the internal work, it's easy for us to ask for forgiveness from somebody we think that we have hurt. But we can't go and ask for forgiveness if we feel hurt from somebody else, right? We cannot. They should come and ask us for forgiveness, but it's not going to happen. Exactly. But here's the thing. We need to gather up our own pieces. It should not be dependent on somebody else. It should not be dependent on somebody else's consciousness to come to be dependent on them, to be dependent on their consciousness, to be dependent on their awareness, that I gather myself back together, that I bring all pieces of myself back together, so that when comes Rosh Hashanah and Hashem says, "Where are you?" I say, "Hineni, here I am. I have all of me here present, ready to perpetually create with you, ready to be present with you on this earth with this gift of life that you have given me, ready to be intimate with you." And that is the greatest prayer. That is the greatest prayer that we can have for ourselves and for those around us. Because we are going forth with all of us, with every breath, with the fullness of the breath that Hashem has given us. And then we make the circle complete. When this circle is complete, there is no longer a need for an interaction of head to happen. No longer it's necessary. What needed to be done is done. The pieces are gathered back. Whatever the soul needed to express, it has expressed, and now there is a completion. Whether it stays in relationship with the other person or not necessarily it needs to stay in relationship, because we are all on this journey, right? And we are traveling, if we imagine we are traveling in a car, with this car there are some people that are always with us, our family, our parents, our children, our cousins, aunts, uncles, and then other people come in, go out. But through this journey, we get to see things, we get to experience things. We get for our soul to know its own capacity. You know, it's one thing that before we are born, we say, yeah, I can do this, sure, give it to me, I can do it. It's another to be in the situation as a human being that gets hurt, that needs validation, that needs to be understood, to go through that. Of course, 100%. That's why my mom says about we say it. Yeah, 100% it could be a misunderstanding. And what if we have that conversation? Is the other person ready to have that conversation? So, you know, it makes it makes it a little bit more challenging. What I say is this: once we do the internal work within us, that blockage that existed, that hard wall that existed between the two of us, starts crumbling down. And in time, there will be a situation and there will be an opportunity where we both meet again and we can both embrace again. I believe that.
And the reason for that being is that probably your feelings change. The way you look at the situation
Exactly.
is going to be different.
Exactly.
So you might not become as sensitive as at some point you have been.
Exactly.
So you go into that continuous relationship, you know, it could be a continuous relationship.
Yes, could be.
You can go into it with a different mindset.
Correct, exactly.
Remembering not to wanting to leave anything of yourself behind.
Exactly, correct. Exactly.
Mental telepathy, that when you don't feel anger and resentment for that person, they feel it too, and then they also drop their guard.
We are all connected.
Hope so.
We can't disconnect ourselves from this universe. We can't. As much as we want to, even if we stay in a room, we lock ourselves up, we never come out for the next year, we are connected to this universe. We are. And who we are and what we are affects it. We have to know that who we become, who we are, how we show up in this world, how we present ourselves, the love that we give, the compassion that we give to ourselves also, I have to say, and to others, to this life, affects everything else. Everything else. And so this is an internal work. We have a week to Rosh Hashanah. So my suggestion would be to really write down those places, those people, those circumstances that you have been hurt from. one by one, go through the list and give it your best. See where you can gather up yourself from those circumstances and situations. See where you can bring yourself back to yourself, back to your essence. See how far you have been spread. Here, there, this situation, that situation, this circumstance. And we all of us. It's not unique to only one of us, it's all of us. And that's why every year, and it happens, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again, we're going to get hurt. It's going to happen again, we're going to get pained. It's part of it. It just happens, it's life. It doesn't mean that we do this and we're never going to get hurt again, no. It means we're going to get hurt and we're able to maybe get through it easier. Maybe get through it instead of a year, it takes us 6 months. Instead of 6 months, it takes us 1 month. It takes us less time. It's life, we get hurt, things come up, people say things, people do things. We see things differently, we do things differently. We are a dynamic of 4 different things. I myself sometimes surprise myself in a situation. So let alone other people. Until we are not face to face with a certain situation, we really never know how it turns out or how it works itself through. And the best gift we can give ourselves, the best New Year gift we can give ourselves is the gift of being able to gather ourselves, the pieces of our soul, the parts of our soul energetically that has been left in all of these areas, and to gather it up so that with that energy we enter into the new year of 5780. This is the last few days of this past year, and it has immense energy in it. This is the time, one minute. This is the time that's before creation. In a day, tomorrow night is the first day of creation. This is the time where we are sitting, it's all of its force, all of what we see here, the galaxies, all of us, all the people in the world, that one creative force that created it all. We're sitting in that. Imagine the intense, I think if we were able to be aware of the energy that we are sitting in, we'll just pass out, it'll just fuse us out. But with this immense love that Hashem has for us, of the fact that He wants us to succeed, He has our back. He really has our back. Even though life has not turned out the way we might have hoped for. He, just as a parent, he wants the best for us as well. We have to know that. And with that we go forward. And with that, Rosh Hashanah, we say Hineni. You know, the Haftorah, I believe, of the first day, or rather not the Haftorah, the parasha of the first day is when Abraham is taking Yitzchak for sacrifice. And Hashem calls unto Abraham, Abraham, Abraham. He says, Hineni. It's for us too. He will call each one of us by our name. And it is our call to answer it. Hineni, here I am. Whatever that call is. But without an image of ourselves, who am I, what am I, how stupid I was, how crazy I was, I'm not worth it, I don't deserve it. Away with all of that. These are all images we have made for ourselves. None of them are true. It's images. Hashem has made us in His image, which is no image. No image. And so to attach ourselves to something, a past, to someone, number one, we are giving power to the circumstance. We are giving power to the other person. We are giving power to my own source of well-being. The well of my being, where is it? Is the well of my being with the other person? Or is the well of my being with the other circumstance? Or the well of my being with Hashem, with His light, with His life force, with His breath that He's given to me, to us?
So you mean in order to forgive someone else, you have to forgive yourself first?
It all happens simultaneously. These are different relationships we have of self, with Hashem, with the other. And so you can forgive the other and forgive yourself, both. It doesn't happen either or, it's both. It's both. Again, a world of paradox. Two truths can exist at the same time. You are sitting opposite me, yes? You are looking at me. What I see is not me, what I see is you. But what you're seeing is me. So if you tell me, if I ask you, what are you seeing? You say, I see you, I see you. What am I seeing? I see you. It's true. What you say is true, what I say is true. Two truths can exist at the same time. Who is sitting to my right? Sima. Who is sitting to my left? Sana. Who is sitting to your right? Who is sitting to your left? Am I right or are you right? We're both right. So, maybe be, first of all, Shana Tova, Chag Sameach. Again, an amazing privilege for me to be amongst all of you and in this time and space. May we be blessed with clarity to know where we have left our pieces. May we be blessed with strength to gather all of our pieces back to ourselves where it belongs. May we be able to, with our forgiveness that we are giving, this forgiving that we are giving, may light shine in all of those dark spaces and dark places of our hearts, of our soul, of our mind, of the space that might be between you and I, and may it be filled with blessings, and may it be filled with just tremendous amount of light, that from it comes only goodness, joy, health, celebration, awareness, consciousness, goodness, connection, love, compassion, and to know that the one affects the many, that your life is just as important as anybody else's, and that your existence at this point in time is important because Hashem willed it so, and that you have something to give to this universe that nobody else can. And by you having all of you, you can do what you are meant to do fully and completely. And may we be blessed with that awareness to know what is my role here, what is my 2 cents, what is my little thread here, so that I can fully and completely forgive it. love to all of you. Thank you for all of you being here tonight.